Our very special guest this week is Ousmane Badiane, African Bureau Director of the International Food Policy Research Institute. He introduces here his structure and tells us more the various partnerships it is involved in, as well as the famine which is threatening the Sahel region. He is interviewed by Armunyon.
IFPRI is, as I said, a global center for economic development research, in particular food policy research. And our emphasis on food translate our vision for a world free of hunger, where countries grow, where people raise their incomes and have access to food. We have opened the office in Dakar, so we are much closer to our partners and our collaborators in the regions, so that we can get greater proximity to the issues and understand them better and can address them in our research. But also we're here so that policymakers, research analysts, and others who need our services and our products have greater access to them. Right? And we would like to be a good neighbor. We have already been working with centers like ISRA, like FASEG, and others for a long time. We are setting up collaborations. We are mentoring students. We are supervising students working on doctoral theses, on master's theses, and others. We're providing internship opportunities, and we are discussing with our colleagues in Dakar the launching of a new series of high-level policy seminars called Rencontres, Stratégie et Développement. So there's a lot we are going to do to be a good neighbor here.
Seems to be interesting. Okay. As you're based here in Dakar, I suppose that there are a lot of activities you're doing. Can you tell us about the main things you're achieving here in Senegal?
We want to be part of the efforts globally to accelerate growth, to find the best options for governments in the developing countries to implement policies that will have the biggest impact in terms of broadening growth, reaching the poor and the vulnerable, and thereby eliminate hunger and poverty. So our mandate and vision is to do research, to provide evidence and findings and analytical tools to governments and their analysts and researchers and other stakeholders in the developing world to allow them to craft the best policies possible to overcome the challenges they are facing, to make people more productive, to provide opportunities for income to the poor and vulnerable people.
Today, everybody's talking about the famine which is going on. So what are you doing exactly to fight against that situation? Are you getting ready for it?
Let me qualify that statement. The African economies, Senegal included, are currently undergoing the strongest pace of economic growth ever. Since the mid-90s, African economies have been growing at an accelerating pace, and more countries are growing very strongly. Since the mid-90s, it's a period of almost 2 decades. It is unprecedented. The bigger picture is the resurgence of economic growth in Africa. Within that broader picture, you have from times to times challenges related to droughts or to floods or to occasional social strife, which will affect the supply and demand of food in specific parts of Africa. What is important about that is to understand what is chronic and what is temporary. So the agenda across Africa right now in West Africa should be one of boosting growth, building on the recovery that has taken place, while addressing the occasional problems that come up once in a while. Right? So the issue in West Africa, therefore, should be, and countries should continue to focus on how to strengthen the recovery process first, and second, how to deal with occasional problems that come up here and there, not the other way around.
You have said something very important in regard with the famine which is currently going on. And how do you see the future in regard with that situation?
You look at the last few years, West Africa has grown steadily. You look at the global environment around West Africa, you see international markets with prices that are very attractive for the farmers. What African and West African governments, in that matter, need to do is to make sure that the agricultural sector can grow and raise productivity so that they can capture the higher prices locally and globally. The position is to see what's happening now as an opportunity for smallholders for whom the past decades have been decades of struggle, except in the last few years. They now have once in a lifetime chances to capture better prices and have higher incomes and improve their livelihood. So we should look at the situations today as an opportunity for our economies and for our smallholders in general, notwithstanding some cases of challenges and issues of localized supply shortages that we need to deal with.
Mr. Ousmane Badiane, thank you for being our guest for this week's EMAG.